Aloha, everybody. Yay, we're here. I love seeing everybody in the chat saying hello. What is it? Goedenavond. Good evening, our friends in the Netherlands. And just everybody from all over joining us today to start our holiday cheer. Yes, before Thanksgiving. You should see it here in Hawaii. It's you. I think the Halloween stuff wasn't even down, and I saw Christmas already being put up in the aisles at Long's.
as it should be.
This is Craig's favorite time of the year.
Yes. Again, we have 13 minutes, as you can see there, about almost 14 minutes of Q&A time that we can help answer any questions before we officially start. We have a special guest in the studio today, Mr. Chris Miller.
Yes.
Who's one of the
You
incredible supporters
yes.
of the ukulele community.
And you usually see him in the chat, but you will not see him. Maybe Ellen will log in. Ellen might log on. We'll see. But yeah, so Chris is here joining us in studio. We will be very kind. We're not going to shove a camera in his face. So don't be nervous. You're okay. But we always enjoy getting to have friends over. So, and after this, we're actually going to be heading over to the Ukulele Guild. They've got it's at the Bishop's Museum, and they've started yesterday. There've been workshops and kanikapila and some really cool talks about and showing of historical instruments. Aaron Kime is also here on island. He is there. He did some talks with Sean Yakovon yesterday, and I think they're actually going to be doing more talks today, which is exciting. So we get to go see and support. We're going to bring Cameron, and Chris will come with us too. So just real excited about that. Should be a ton of fun. And then a couple of very small housekeeping things. One, our March retreat is sold out, y'all. But we do have a wait list. So if you are like, oh no, I meant to sign up, you can contact Marion. Just go to our website and go to our retreats page, and then you'll be forwarded to contact Marion so she can put you on the wait list, because every now and then we do have last minute people who drop out.
Sold out twice this year, because
I know,
officially we sold out in 3 days after announcing.
Yes.
So we increased it by 50%.
And sold out.
Hired more teachers, sold out, but we do have a wait list. And we have I can't announce some special guests here. That's okay.
I thought we could now.
Well, there's some that we
that we can't. Yeah.
And then so tomorrow also, Artist Work students, we do have our monthly check-in. So
yes,
don't forget.
so make sure if you are an Artist Work student and you are available at 9 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time, join us on Zoom. The Zoom link is in the forum under Craig and Sarah's bulletin, and look for November 19th Zoom check-in. And also, if you're not going to be there live, it's okay. Just ask questions in that forum thread so we can answer them. Even if you are going to be there, go ahead and ask your questions ahead of time. That's sometimes helpful for us, because then we know how to sort of gear the session. And the sessions that we do for Artist Works are always recorded, and then you can watch them later. So there's that. And then also, I haven't changed the graphics on our website yet, y'all, but we just decided yesterday we are changing our December holiday jam. That's going to be a free jam, a lot like our Halloween one. And we're changing it because we found out our friend Neil Chin's coming to town, and we want him to join us so that we can actually have a kanikapila. We might have some other special guests coming in too. So it's going to be, I believe it's December 16th, the following Saturday. We originally scheduled for the 9th, so it'll be the following Saturday. But I'm going to do an email blast about that and put up new graphics and all of that, because we want to make sure we can jam with our friend Neil. So it should be a ton of fun. I've already been picking out some songs. We're going to make sure to use this song so you can try to use some of the things you've learned during that jam too. So it should be a lot of fun.
I had a couple emails about asking what the Scholar Packet includes for this month.
So Scholar Packet for this month, it's actually like an extension of this lesson, because I wanted to originally, this was like a giganto lesson. And of course, I had to pare it down because I only have an hour with you folks. And so basically, we are jazzing it up. We're going to end up taking what we end with today and going further, learning some rhythmic patterns where we do some anticipatory movement. We end up doing some more chord substitutions where we change out, major chords with major sevens. We end up doing some minor seven stuff. And we also move up the fretboard with some of our shapes as well, just giving the song a bit more movement. And it's a lot of fun. So I'm really excited about the Scholar Packet. That video has already been recorded. So if you purchase your Scholar Packet, there is a special link. You get to have that video lesson that takes this lesson a bit further, jazzing up Here Comes Santa Claus, and you get practice backing tracks of various speeds to practice with as well. You get access to those. And those you can download to your computer or any device that you would like. And so there's a special link in the Scholar Packet that can take you to the page that has all of the extra goodies. So definitely check it out. It's a really fun lesson. And I'll play a little bit of it, I think, towards the end. Once you see where we land, and then I can show you this is how far it goes. Right now, you don't have much context. So, yeah.
And again, thank you to everyone. We do show everything on screen,
Yes.
but if you do want your own packet, it's only $10 for the standard packet. You can go to our website to grab it, but it also helps us keep these workshops online for free
Yeah.
for everyone. So thank you so much for your support. Let's see. Any other housekeeping?
I think that's pretty much it. I know that we're already sort of planning next year, which is very exciting. So we're already making plans for what we want our live streams to cover. We've had some really good feedback. So if there's a particular something that you're wanting to learn, you can always email us and tell us. And we've had some folks do that. And so we already have some plans to do some chord melody things. Again, chord melody seems to be one of the most requested things from us. So our goal is to teach you how to do it so that then you can start doing it yourself. Not necessarily saying, this is how you play X song. It's this is how you can make a chord melody. And for those of you that want a holiday song that does that, actually look at last year's November live stream, because I did a how-to chord melody, but I used the song The Holly and the Ivy, one of my favorite tunes. And the Scholar Packet included, I think it was either Deck the Halls or I can't remember the song, but it was a second Christmas song. And I go through and I show you all of the options you have available as far as what chords you can use so that then you can create your own chord melody. And that was last year. You can go to craigandsarah.com/live and scroll down until you find it. But it's chord melody, The Holly and the Ivy, November 2022. We did that. And we also have some other chord melody ones throughout as well. But I do remember that one specifically. I made sure to make it more of a here's how you do it kind of lesson as opposed to here's how you play X song. Yeah.
There are some travels being fleshed out at the moment.
Yes.
We will be announcing some of that soon.
Yes. I have to.
Sorry for the
vagueness.
Yeah.
We don't mean to be so vague. Yeah. We have right now, I think the only things that we can actually state is the March retreat, and that's it. We can't really announce anything else yet, but we will be doing a little bit of traveling next year. We're easing into it slowly, especially with Cameron. Yeah. Let's see. Are there any questions for us? I love seeing. Oh, hi, Skip and Judy. Thanks for joining us. It's good to see you.
Yeah, we're also going to be focusing on getting people to start soloing a bit more too. So we have some special guests.
Second requested.
That we're going to be featuring, as well as having our own little spiel and things like that. But that has been a big focus of people wanting to learn more about chord melody and soloing. So, and with that said too, I'm going to start another like kind of mini series that will be going over a lot of foundation work because we did see a big increase in new people picking up the ukulele over the past few years, and I want to make sure that they are set as well. So if you do have people on the fence, look, once I have that series up and running, you can definitely share it with them. It's going to be free on our YouTube channel. And if you're looking to see if you have any holes in your foundation, that will be great to review as well.
Excuse me. Yes, I'm very excited about that too. And don't forget, don't worry, Artist Work students. We've got some big plans actually for you folks. We we're getting organized. It's nice it's nice having Cameron in preschool so that we can have meetings and organize ourselves and start to make some plans.
We do have a Christmas challenge lesson coming up too that we're recording this weekend. So it should be up and running by next week, and that will include a basic version of a song, a more jazzy arrangement, and then a chord melody arrangement as well. Woo-woo! So that's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's so nice. We can record things here. We don't have to go all the way to Artist Work Studios for everything, which is really, really nice, like when it first started. So we appreciate that very much. And so does Cameron and his grandparents. This is wonderful. I love seeing so many people. This is so great. And yes, I hope we get to go back to Arizona. We used to visit our friends in Sun City. It was like every year for a while we would hop over and say hi to our friends over there. Plus, I want to see the Museum of Making Music. It looks epic. So I'd love to be able to take some time. That would be a trip. I think it'd be fun to have Cameron join us. He can meet all the aunties and uncles, and I know he would really enjoy that music museum too. That would be really, really cool. And of course, we do need to go visit our friends in the Pacific Northwest. It's been quite a while. So we definitely, we're thinking about y'all, even if we're not there right now. But we had a wonderful time and at the Denver Ukulele Festival. Gosh, how many years ago? That was many years.
2017?
Probably like 2017.
Oh, it was a ton of fun.
We had a blast.
Yeah.
If they invite us back, we would love to come back. So that it is in our minds. We had a great time last time we were there. So let them know, I guess. Yeah. How cool. And also, if you haven't already purchased a packet, you don't need to. We do show everything on screen, but if you want to have it in your hand so that you can take your own notes, craigandsarah.com/live. And you can go, it's there at the top of the page. But we also have tons of other live streams and packets and things. Some of them are free packets. You just fill in your email address and you get taken to the page that has all of the free things. And you can download all those free things. It's pretty great.
Yep, and we've been getting a lot of emails asking about season 3 of the Backyard Concept series. And we were dialing in what that might look like with all the projects that we're working on with the nonprofit. But
Craig has got crazy ideas.
We do have some great ideas for season 3. So maybe after the holidays, maybe in January, we'll start
sharing those ideas with you folks. We're very excited about some, even though I'm saying Craig has crazy ideas, like usually his crazy ideas tend to be good ones. So
like at least 86%.
Yeah. So I know for me, usually though, it just means like, it's going to be more stressful for me. So I have to kind of go take some deep breaths. I've been practicing that a lot with a 3-year-old. Deep breaths. When is the Denver Uke Fest? Somebody asked in the chat. So when we did it, I feel like it was in August, but you'd have to check. Since the pandemic, I know a lot of festivals have kind of changed and rearranged their dates. So I would look up Denver Ukulele Festival, and because I'm sure it's on their website, or somebody in the chat, maybe Anne, might be able to say it's usually around these dates. Oh, Angela. Oh, by the way, Angela, congratulations. I saw a photo. I think was it a grandchild? Super, super cute baby you were holding on the social medias. Yes, I stalk y'all. But I totally understand that you need to go to dinner. So no worries at all. No worries.
Yeah, and Carol P in the chat. Again, thank you, Carol, for being one of our fantastic moderators when we did the music and meals from Maui, and as well as our other events too. Thank you so much for all your hard work.
Yeah, you are always so fast. Look at that. It was September 1st. 2023. That's when Denver Uke Fest was. Nice.
All right. Well, The plan for today is I'm gonna take it easy today. Sarah has her foot switcher, so she's gonna be doing all of her camera switching on her own today without even showing it. It's gonna be fantastic. I'll just make sure everything is sounding and looking as good as possible. But I'll also be in the live chat helping answer any questions, and I'll help moderate questions for Sarah if I cannot answer them or if it looks like it'll be good to show on screen. So again, thank you guys so much for joining our live stream today. It's always nice to see you guys live, even though you can watch the recording of it, but it makes it more exciting for us. So thank you.
Well, it's more, I mean, you could ask questions. That's the beautiful part, right? So you can actually ask us questions and all of that. And also somebody mentioned like that they liked my mug. Thank you. This was my mom's mug. They bought it at an art show, probably the Kentuck Art Show in Alabama in '94. This mug's been around. Okay. And it keeps my tea nice and hot. So here comes Santa Claus. Here is our basic version. Let's just go through and just strum it super plain Jane so that we can kind of get into it. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes Santa Claus again. Comes G7 right down Santa Claus Lane. Again G7. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer see. Pulling on the reins. F. Bells are ringing E minor. Children singing D minor. Quick one G7. All is merry and C bright. F. Hang your stockings A7. Say your prayers. 'Cause Santa Claus comes tonight. Let's try it one more time. Get your C's ready. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa G7 right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer pulling on the reins. Here comes F. Bells are ringing E minor. Children sing in D minor. G7, all is merry and C bright. F, so hang your stockings A7 and say your prayers D minor, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. 2, 3, 4. Yay! And thanks, Craig, for pulling out the bass for that second time around. Very nice. So, Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus. It's not too hard, right? There's just a handful of chords. I think the hardest thing is that D minor to G7 movement, right? It's because it's 2 beats each, so it's a fast change. But pretty simple, pretty doable. What if we want to change things up? Excuse me. What if we want to change things up? Let's take a look. So there's many verses and stuff. I'm just going to be working on the first verse because we're working with chord changes. So just keep that in mind. Sorry, I'm not like continuing the song. We'll do that during the jam in December. All right. So a couple of things before we begin. It's theory, Sarah. No, how could you? Okay. Don't worry. Don't fret. Pun intended, you'll be fine. So if you've done live streams with us in the past, dutifully go through this because I think this kind of stuff is very important. So I'm going to go through it semi-quickly because I know some of you have seen this information before. And also this is recorded, so you'll be able to go back and rewatch it. So what I have is I've got our C major scale, because the song is in the key of C, and I've written out the notes in your C major scale. Then above it, I have written the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's basically telling you like what note is in the scale, what number the note is, or you could think of it as what chord number. When someone says the 1 chord, they're referring to a C of some kind. But underneath it tells you what the quality of that chord would be, typically found in this key. Now, this rule gets broken frequently, so don't think that this is the only way, the only chords that must be in this key. This is just the quality of chords that will usually be in the key of C and that all play very friendly together because all of these chords utilize notes from the C major scale. So there are no sharps or flats in any of these notes for these chords that I am showing you currently. Okay, so my 1 chord is usually a major. So my 1 would be a what? A C major. You can also just say C because the major is implied. My 2 chord is usually a what? It's a D minor. It's usually a minor chord. My 3 chord is typically a E minor. My 4 is usually a F major. My 5 is a G major of some kind. I'll get into G7 in a few minutes, but just keep going with me. This is just the basics right now. And then our 6th chord is usually an A minor. And then the 7 chord, I actually just, usually it's a diminished triad, but I took it one step further and made it a minor 7 flat 5. Don't worry about it. You're not going to need to use that chord at all. Okay? We're not using that chord today, but take a minute, look down below, and you'll see here, boop, 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 that we have got all of the chords laid out that will sound nice in the key of C. So C, a D minor, an E minor, an F, a G, an A minor. And that terrifyingly named chord, it's not too bad. And if you notice all of the notes, you're holding an A, a D, an F, and a B. All notes found in your C major scale. There's no sharps or flats, even though there's a flatted 5th note listed, like the note that it becomes is just a note from your C scale. So don't worry about it. So you'll also notice that I've given you Roman numerals, and so with that underneath, you'll notice I have a little note here saying when you see Roman numerals, what that means is if it's capital, that means it's based on a major chord. So that's why this is capital, this is, and that is. The rest of them are lowercase. That means that they're based off of a minor chord. That's all. So I just wanted to point that out so that in the future, when you notice Roman numerals, you can at least go, I have a vague idea of what that's supposed to mean. Okay, now let's talk about that 5 chord right here. A lot of times our 5 chord tends to be made into a dominant 7. That's actually based on a major chord. And that's this lovely G7 chord. That guy, it's just a G chord with a friend. It just has an extra fancy pants note added to it. And typically, when it shows up, there's a C after it. When you just see a regular G, usually there's a different chord that's after. But if there's a G7, probably a C is listed after it because there's that resolve that happens when you go from a 5 to a 1 chord. But let's just keep moving forward. You'll notice that I actually did include down here a B diminished. That's a diminished triad, not to be confused with a diminished 7. A diminished 7 is actually a different chord. And that's the chord that you guys see that are like this, that you can move all over the fretboard and have this really cool sound. That has 4 notes in it, whereas a B diminished triad only has 3. But we're not using that chord today. Don't get too fixated on it. Let's move on so we can play music. Is everyone okay? Okay, here we go. Let me scroll up because we're gonna make a couple of progressions here because I want you to be kind of familiar with this idea. So I want to make a 1-6-2-5, y'all. That's going to be one of the sort of first things that I think we're going to find in the song. So what's my 1? C. Excellent. Okay. What is my 6? A what? A minor. What is my 2? It's a D. D what? D minor. And then what's my 5? Why, it could be G or G7. I'm going to make it G7 because we're going to go back around to the 1. So C, A minor, D minor, and G7. Okay. So let's just go through and play these chords 2 beats each. I bet everybody's going to sound great. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, A minor, D minor, G7. Back to C, A minor, D minor, G7. Again, C, A minor, D minor, G7, end on C. Yeah, that's a super popular progression. You probably felt, it probably had a doo-wop feeling to you, though usually with doo-wop, that would be a 4 chord. So it would be an F instead of D minor. But you could use either one and you still get a similar feeling. Now, if I wanted to like make something feel more jazzy, I'm just giving you this. This is a little extra something that we get into more in the scholar packet. But it would be, let's try C major 7, A minor 7, D minor 7, and a G9, just because we can. So in doing this, it would sound like this. I'm going to do all open strings for A minor 7, and then D minor 7, and then G9. Look at that. Not too bad, right? C major 7 starts on that 2nd fret, A minor 7's all open, and with D minor, the only thing that's different between D minor 7 and G9 is you just, the A string, you just scoot your pinky down in pitch. So what I would do here is D minor 7, and then just take my pinky and scoot down. Easy. Let's try doing 2 beats each. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, A minor, D minor 7. Move your pinky. Again, C major, A minor, D minor, G9. Again, C major, A minor, D minor, G9. End on C major 7. Nice. So that works out really beautifully, and it sounds really different from that very first one. I go more in depth in this in our Jazz Jam workshop that we did. I think it was earlier this year. So you can always go back and reference that if you want to get more into this sort of jazzy realm. So, but keep in mind, again, the main thing is 1, 6, 2, 5. C, A, D, A minor, D minor, G7. That's really the heart of it. There's one more thing that you're going to end up seeing within this workshop, and that's a 3, 6, 2, 5. So I covered up the top. What was 3? C, D, E. E what? E minor. So E minor, A minor, D minor, and G7. Okay, let's see how this guy sounds. So I've got my E minor, A minor, D minor, and G7. 1, here, I'll do this so you can see my changes. 1, 2, 3, 4, E minor, A minor, D minor, G7. Again, E minor, A minor, D minor, G7. One more time. E and then A, D, G7, and end on a regular C. Yay! So we can kind of recognize a 1, 6, 2, 5 now, and we can recognize a 3, 6, 2, 5. Now let's go in and take a look at our song for a second. Right now, we're going to start with a part of the tune that I feel it's kind of obvious that you're going to see what I'm about to do. And that is actually the last two lines of the tune, because I already have a 2 chord here and a 5 chord here in both of these instances, right? So it's going to be pretty easy for me to add some stuff here. So looking ahead, notice that I already have an E minor. So maybe I could sneak in an A minor, which is what you see down here. Okay, E minor to A minor. Woohoo! That was an easy thing to just slide in there. D minor to G7. Then look at the next line. Ooh, so there's an A7 up here, right? I decide to leave that, and instead I'm just adding in this E minor down here. Okay, so our top line was bells are ringing, bells are ringing, children singing, all is merry and bright. So hang your stockings and say your prayers, 'cause our Santa Claus comes tonight. Now, let's look at this next line at the bottom, or the next two lines. 2, 3, 4. Bells are ringing, children singing, all is merry and bright. Again, the second line. Hang your stockings and say your A7 prayers, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. Yeah. It's just one extra little chord that we added in there for that top line. We added in an A minor, and then on that second one, we added in the E minor. So you have 3, 6, 2, 5 happening. 3, 6, 2, 5. But you have two different versions. You have one that's going to be friendly with the key of C because it has an A minor. And then you have extra fancy pants. You have one that has a crazy C sharp note in it. Luckily, it doesn't clash with our melody, so we can leave it, and it was also originally in the song, so we can leave it and it will sound just fine. If you want to make it an A minor, you can, but I like actually having a slight difference between the two lines. That's just a personal preference. So, okay, we've added that. How are you guys feeling? Doing okay? Because I'm going to move forward. All right. Now, let's say I don't want to play 2, 3, 6, 2, 5s in a row. Well, knowing that I could play a 1, 6, 2, 5 or a 3, 6, 2, 5, I decide to change the very first line, because originally this was E minor, that chord, right? So we're going to make it a 1, 6, 2, 5, and then we're keeping that 3, 6, 2, 5. So let's see how this sounds. Bells are ringing. 2, 3, 4. Bells are ringing. C. Children singing. D minor. All is merry. C and bright. The F. So hang your stockings. E minor. Say A7, 'cause D minor, G7, and C. Let's do it one more time. Do your F. Bells are ringing. The C. Children singing. D minor, G7, and C. F. Hang your stocking. E minor. Say A7. This is D minor, G7, and C. Woohoo! Nice. I think that sounds pretty sweet. Now, there's more alterations that we can actually do to those lines. We're going to do them a little later. Right now, I want us to just focus again on adding like 1, 6, 2, 5s or variations thereof. So we're going to move to a different part of the song where it might not be as obvious, where you can add some of this stuff. Okay, I'm going to kind of scoot up so you can see both versions on screen. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus on getting rid of some of those G7s. So you know that D minor coming before G7 sounds really nice. It's a 2-5 movement. And you can see that eventually you're going to land on C, right? With these G7s. It's like G7 for forever, and then you finally land on C. So knowing this, I have got my second line down here, and I've switched out. This used to be G7, remember? And so did this one. So we're going to switch those out and see how that sounds. So here we go. With this, start with this one. Here comes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes Santa Claus, Santa G7 lane. Here we go again. D minor, G7, and then the C chord. C, pulling on the reins. Again, we'll do it again. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa D minor. Right down Santa G7's lane. D minor. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reins. C, pulling on the reins. 2, 3, 4. Woohoo! So we've got that. That sounds pretty good. But those C's in the beginning, I want to change that. So I do. So continuing on, you'll notice here, I'm adding in A minor. I can do that because look what's happening. 1, 6, 2, 5. Sweet. Let's give this one a try. Again, we're just doing it step by step, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. Right down Santa Claus lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all of his reindeer are pulling on the reins. Again, here comes Santa Claus 6. Here comes Santa Claus 2. Right down Santa Claus lane. D minor. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer pulling on the reins. You want to play, Craig? This one again? Again. Here comes Santa 6. Here comes Santa Claus 2. Right down Santa 5 lane. 2. Vixen and Blitzen 5 and all his reindeer. C, pulling on the reins. Nice. So that's how we snuck in that 1, 6, 2, 5. But there's more we can do. So moving forward, we're actually going to add in a 3 chord. And the reason I'm doing this is I want to change that C still. I don't want it to just stay C on that first line anymore. So we are going to add that in. And the cool thing about this is that we're creating movement without really going anywhere tonally. Like we're still 100% key of C. Like we're not like adding in accidentals or anything crazy. I've heard this referred to a little bit as like circling the airport. Like you're still in the same spot, but let's see how it sounds. So what we're doing is we're playing a C for 2 beats, D minor for 2 beats, and then we're going to E minor. And that's making us have this 3, 6, 2, 5 moment right there. Okay? Let's try it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes Santa Claus. E minor, A minor, D minor for 4 beats, and G7 for 4 beats. D minor for 4 beats, G7, and then we got a lot of C. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 again. 2 beats, 2 beats, 2 beats, and 2 beats. Now back to the 4 beats. And G7, D minor, G7, and then C. One last time. Here we go. C, D minor, and E minor, A7, or A minor, excuse me, D minor, G7, D, up, I started playing the second line, D minor for 4, G7, and then C, 2, 3. Since I messed up, let's do it one more time. Top 1. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer pulling on the reins. 2, 3, 4. Nice. So you could hear when I messed up, I actually started playing that second area that's highlighted because my ear wanted to go there. I loved playing the 2 beats of everything. So I decided, you know what? Let's just make a chord change happen all the time. So what I did is instead of holding D minor for 4 beats, I'm actually jumping back and forth between D minor and G7. This is something that it's not necessary. It sounds just fine. If you prefer the 4 beats, you can leave it. You don't have to do all this extra, it's not fancy, but you don't have to do all this extra stuff, this extra movement if you don't want to. So you'll notice here, we still have that C, D minor, E minor, A minor. Then we're doing 2 beats, 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 and then we land on C, okay? So let's give this a shot. I really like this because I feel like it adds some bounce to the song, which is why I have chosen it and decided to showcase this. So, and the melody of the song is staying exactly the same. So I am singing the same melody I've been singing. And it's the same old, same old. All of these chords work just fine with your melody. So that was a great question. Thank you for asking. Also, I might not sing the melody perfectly as it should. Just FYI. Let's give this second area a shot. I'll go a little slower because there's a lot of chords changing. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. Right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer, see, pulling on the reins. Again, here we go. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer pulling on the reins. 2, 3, 4. I like all this little extra movement. It adds a little bit more bounce and more sort of anticipation. Here comes Santa Claus. And all of these changes that we are making, if you are wanting to do a chord melody, you can actually use these chords within the chord melody, or you could keep it simple and use the first set of chords. It all kind of depends on the movement and what it is that you're wanting to do. But you could do either. I would probably end up doing D minor for 4 beats and G7 for 4 beats instead, because that's going to be easier within my chord melody, but it really depends for this one. You know, it's kind of song dependent, but that's a good question of like, do you change stuff with the chord melody? You can if you'd like to. It's totally up to you. Now, I'm going to take us on a little bit of a journey, and I want you to come with me on this journey for a hot minute. We've done this journey a handful of times in past live streams, but I want us to pretend we're in another key for just a second. So we have these C's at the end of this section. And some of you are saying, please don't change those. I like having a nice little break where I can just play one chord for 8 beats. But I'm sorry, I'm going to change them. So what I want us to do right now is think about what comes after this. What actually comes after pulling on the reins, that part, is we're actually going to bells are ringing. You're going to an F chord after. Now, if you're thinking about the key of F for a second, what relationship is a C major to an F major. If you look at the handy dandy thing that I put down here, you can kind of guess the answer pretty quickly. C is the 5 chord of F. So we could make, if you wanted, you could make this a C7 on its own, that whole measure, and that would sound lovely. But I want more. So what we're going to do is up here, so we have a 2-5 movement happening in the key of C. So what would happen if I actually made a 2-5 movement happening down here? What chord would I need? Looking at my F major scale that I've written down there, the 2, look underneath it, it's a G what? A G minor. So what we're going to do is right here. We are going to add in G minor and C7 to lead us to that F chord. It'll just have a really nice feeling of resolution. But keep in mind, the G minor chord is extra. You don't really need it. You could just stay on C and it would sound just fine. But right now I'm just trying to give you a lot of options, and I, for one, am just trying to add as much movement in this song as possible chord-wise, just again to showcase what all of the chords can do. Now, underneath it, you'll see that I left it C to C7. You could switch it out and do G minor 7, but I like that C to C7, especially because you have a D minor G7 happening right before it. So the resolution going from here to here and then here feels better to my ear. And I'm still doing 2 chords in that measure. So that's part of why I like to keep that there. So let's go through and we can actually play all of this, which is super, super exciting. And we're going to do this several times. Yeah, so here we go, y'all. And I'm going to do a close-up of my hand. All righty. You guys ready? There's a lot of 2 chords each. All right. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes Santa Claus. E minor, A minor, D minor, G7 and D minor, G7, D minor, G7, D minor, G7, C. You can stay there. G minor if you're playing it. C7, F. Bells are ringing. C. Children singing. All is G7 and C to C7, F. Hang your stockings. E minor, say A7. Nice, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. Let's do it again. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. D minor, G7, D minor, G7, D minor, G7, D minor, G7, C. You get to play for a while. G minor, C7, F. Bells are ringing. C. Children singing. D minor, G7 and C to C7, F. Hang your stockings. E minor, say your prayers, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. Let's do it again, faster. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. Right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer pulling on the reins. Bells are ringing, children singing. 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. 2, 3, 4. Now, I actually kind of want to walk through this chord by chord for a second with you folks, because I bet some of you are having some struggles with some of these changes when we speed it up. So I want to kind of talk through exactly what I tend to do when I play this. Now, granted, I sometimes will play things slightly differently, depending on how I'm feeling. So C to D minor is fine. Here comes Santa Claus. Now for E minor, notice that my ring finger slides up because it's actually already on the right string, and it slides up to the 4th fret. So then all I have to do is put down 2 fingers. So try that. D minor, slide up, whoop, to that 4th fret and add 2 friends. And then I'm already there. It's not too bad. And for A minor, I use my middle because all I have to do is add 2 fingers for D minor. Boop, right there. Here we go. Just like that. This should remind you of the spider exercise that Craig teaches. That's my 1 and 3 that I'm needing to use, right? So again, starting from C to D minor, scoot up that ring, E minor, and then A minor, add 2 friends. And then this part, your index just gets to hang out and be your anchor, right? And he just hangs out for a while. He keeps hanging out. And then C, of course, is easy. But I want you to notice something that my hand is doing already preemptively. Look, I have my index finger already set when I'm playing C. I already have my index behind it, holding the 1st fret of that A string. Because I know I need an anchor, I'm going to go to G minor. And then just lift up 2 fingers for C7, right? That's not so bad. So making sure, again, when I hold that C chord, I actually have my index already there and available. And then I can do G minor and then C7. F is just like a little hop. But you could actually, if you wanted, you could just do this version of F, which is an F add 9. I know it's not written in the music, but it's just an option. You could do bells are, and then you have your C, your bells are ringing, and then C, children A minor, and of course A minor, right? G minor 7 and C. Now the C to C7, I already have my index there, but I could have 3 fingers on because I could go during that measure. Somebody mentioned it in the chat and I just wanted to point it out. I could play a C for 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, oh no, it'd have to be sooner than 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is probably what I would end up doing for counting, but you could do 2 beats or 1 beat, 1, 2, 3, 4. You could also do that as well during this. Maybe that's something that sounds better. It's just 1 beat of C and then 2 beats of C7. And then you have your F, which again, you can play the full F or you can play F add 9. Say your prayers, so hang your stockings and say your prayers. So this to me is the hardest one, going from F to E minor. For me, I am focusing mostly on my index change, where I'm kind of going here and then making sure that I get to that 2nd fret and bring everybody down. I mean, I could potentially hold, no, for me, I would still do this. And then I use my index here, goes D minor, G7, and C, right? So with those ideas in mind, I know that these, for some of you, are simple chords, but taking the time to think about it and look ahead, especially if that C to G minor, already having that index down, that's brilliant, a brilliant thing to do. So with that in mind, let's play it one more time and we'll play it faster. And then we'll move on. Okay? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer pulling on the reins, yeah. Bells are ringing, children singing, all is merry and bright. So Hang your stockings and say your prayers, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. Let's do it. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer are pulling on the reins. Bells are ringing, children singing, days are merry. And I'll do the walk down. Hang your stockings and say your prayers, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. 2, 3, 4. Yahoo! Nice. So this is ending up being kind of bouncy and fun. And I feel it kind of has more of the vibe of the tune than the very first one that we did. But wait, there's a little bit more that we can do on this song. So let's move forward a little bit. So, oh, I love that. I did not catch this beautiful misspelling in my text. That's supposed to be the word both, y'all. Both. That happens. There's always at least one thing in my handouts. But looking at this, let's see. There's one more change that I want to make. And we're going to do something called a passing chord. Basically, it's just helping us get from one chord to the next. And we're going to be using a diminished chord for that. So if you're looking at, let's say, the very last line, so hang your stockings and say your prayers. So if we look at the root movement happening, so we have an F note, and I'll actually start it on the C string. F note going to E. Oh, sorry, that's E. Oh, wait, I am so sorry. Sorry, F to G, thinking about where we're headed. So F sharp to G. Sorry.
Where is it?
So, hold on just a second. So, in your F chord, the notes that you have in your F chord are an A, a C, an F, and an A, right? And then we're moving to an E minor chord. The notes in our E minor chord are going to be that G here, there's going to be an E here, there's going to be a G here, and and a B. So one thing that I'm thinking about is actually the notes within the chord moving. So looking at this saying, oh, look, I actually have an F note move if going to a G note for the next chord. It's not root movement. It's actually movement within the chord itself. So this is a little bit harder to digest because it's not quite as obvious. So one thing that we are going to be doing here is we're going to add in an F sharp diminished, so that within that chord change, you're going to hear an F note followed by an F sharp note followed by that G note within the chords. So what it's going to sound like is something like this. And I'm going to focus my picking on that E string. You can hear that we have a walk up happening within the chord changes. So you've got there we go. So we're going to be doing that kind of movement coming up. So this idea and concept, even though the roots of the chord isn't changing, we still have this really cool movement happening within the chords themselves. So it's a little heavy, but that's why it's at the end. So let's take a look. Here we go. So here we go. I'm just double checking and making sure there's no other questions for this. So we've got our chords ready. Now you'll notice there's where I've added that F sharp diminished. You can see where it's highlighted. So we have our F, and then we have F sharp diminished. Now you could, if you wanted, actually have a note here. Oops, that actually doesn't look that great. Here we go, F here. So I have added a note to the 3rd fret here. And with this, it can help make your chord change a little easier. So let me do a close-up actually. So I have F with a friend, and then I can move everybody around it. And then I'm still there for C if I wanted to. So bells are ringing, children singing, and continuing forward. So I have that happening actually in both lines, okay? So let's give it a shot and see how it sounds. So we'll go through a little bit slower. Excuse me. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. Right down Santa Claus Lane. D minor, Vixen and Blitzen and all his reign. C, pulling on the G minor. C7. F, add a friend if you want. A ringing C. Children singing D minor. All is merry and C. C7. F. Sing your stockings E minor. Say your prayers, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. Let's do it again. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. Right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer pulling on the G minor. C7. Bells diminished, children singing D minor. All is merry and C. C7. So hang your diminished and say your sevens, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. 2, 3, 4. All right. So one thing I want to point out is how I might do the F to F diminished C versus F diminished to E minor. So if I'm doing F and I'm adding my pinky, the C was fine, but you might have a little bit of trouble with the next line. So I have F. I can still add this if I wanted. So going from this chord, I have 2 fingers in the middle that are actually already on the strings they need to be. They just need to scoot up, and then I add. Yeah, so let's try that. Going from F sharp diminished 7, lift up your 1 and your 4, scoot up, and then put your 1 down. Again, F sharp diminished, lift up 2 fingers, whoop, and there you go with that E minor. Then everything else is like how we practiced before. Now the F with a friend, does it have a name? It's actually just another F chord. If I was to take this F chord and I named the notes, I have A, C, F, and A. I have 2 A's happening here. If I add my pinky, I have A, C, F, and C again. So it's just another F major chord. It's not actually a fancy name. It's just F, but with 2 different notes. So it has 2 C's in it versus the 2 A's. That's all. So you can use it anytime you see an F chord if you'd like. Now let's go through and let's play it again a little faster now that you know my little trick of lift up and scoot up. I scooted up too far there. All right. All right, let's do page 9. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes Santa Claus. Here comes Santa Claus. Right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer pulling on the F with a friend. Bells are ringing C. Children A minor singing D minor. All is merry and bright. C7, F. So hang your stockings and say your prayers, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. Try it again. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer pulling on the reins. Bells are ringing, children singing D minor. All is merry and bright. So hang your stockings and say your prayers, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. 2, 3, 4. Yay! So it sounds pretty cool, and it's not too bad, right? Once we kind of walk through the chord changes and show you how to be a little bit more economical, it's not bad at all. And it's a nice bouncy version of it, right? So again, what we originally did, here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane, versus here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. There's a lot more it feels like there's a lot more going on. Again, we just added a few extra little chords just to get it moving forward. And I feel like this, for me, this is a really fun version to play. And you can take it a step further, which is what we do in our Scholar Packet. And so in the end, we get something. So with the Scholar Packet, for those of you that have already gotten it, I think that there's an issue with a link, so we're going to make sure to fix that for you folks right after this live stream. But with that, it'll sound something like this. Let's just put it that way. So I'm going to end up doing... Let's see, I might do some different rhythmic elements, because one of the things that we did with that particular packet is I go over changing out your chords, like major sevens, minor sevens, that kind of stuff. But I also go over some rhythm patterns that you can use where you're doing anticipatory things, like changing on the and of two and stuff like that, to get it to sound more jazz-like, because it's not just the chords that you need to change in order to get it that kind of more swingy sound. So, all right, I'm just going to wing it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer pulling on the rein. Bells are ringing, children singing, all is merry and bright. So hang your stockings and say your prayers, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight. So that's basically what you end up with, is something like that. And so it's a lot of fun going over that. If you purchase the standard packet and you decide, hey, I want to do that too, you can always send us an email, chimazel@gmail.com, and you can always upgrade your packet. Just let us know. But it's a fun song to make more jazzy, and I really hope that you had fun during today's workshop. This is definitely one that I had a lot of fun creating and going over. It's just a blast. And also, just a reminder, if you do want to learn more with us, you can always check out our website, craigandsarah.com/lessons. That will lead you to our online school with Artist Works, and also just showcases some free lessons that are there too. So if you want to check that out, you can. But we are very excited. We are going to be doing a December holiday jam. It will be free and a ton of fun. Our friend Neil Chin will be joining us, and who knows, we might have a few other special guests too. It should be a ton of fun, and I am currently working on that packet. I've already picked out the songs, and don't worry, we'll play this one. We'll do a nice little review, and there's a couple of Hawaii classics that we're going to have that I know we did a jam 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. And so we're going to pull some songs from that too. So if you do want to get in the holiday spirit and join our past jam, that was also free as well. So you can always go to craigandsarah.com/live and check out that one. That was from 2021.
And again, don't forget, if any of the stuff that you've been working on from our live streams or lessons, and if you get a performance video of it done and share on social media, definitely tag us. We'd love to see how you guys are doing.
Mm-hmm. No, we're super excited. And then let's see. Oh, I'm so glad everybody seems to be enjoying this workshop. As I said, I was having a lot of fun when I was putting it together. And you only need to know like a tiny bit of theory in order to be able to add in some of this extra movement. And you can play the standard chords. You don't need to make everything major 7 and all of that in order to create something that gives you more movement and just makes things a little more fun for your playing. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We are going to be meeting for our December jam. That's actually switching to December 16th. I will be changing our graphics and everything because right now everything still says the 9th. That's going to be a free jam. And also Artist Work students, do not forget tomorrow is our Zoom check-in, 9 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time, exclusively for our Artist Work students. So you can ask us questions in real time, or there's a forum that you can ask questions in prior if you will not be able to join us live, and it will be recorded and put on the ArtistWorks platform for you to view later if you can't join us when we're live. So thank you all so much. I'm excited to see our students tomorrow, and we'll see you guys next month. All right. Aloha, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.